Alright gang, summer is here and there are many options for fragrances to wear, but do they freaking last? Not everything lasts. You want them to be at least somewhat fresh or with fresh notes so that they don't weigh you down or get cloying, but you definitely want the fragrances to last. Well, today I've got 15 fragrances in this video that are beast mode with great longevity. You like the idea of beast mode fragrances for summer? Then that's what I have for you today. So if you want to find out what they are, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, we're talking about beast mode fragrances for summer. Fragrances that are not necessarily the stuff that you would wear in the wintertime only. So these are somewhat fresh with fresher notes, and they have great longevity. So I had to go through to find out what I had and make sure that these are longer lasting. And some of these fragrances are not necessarily uber fresh, but they do feature fresh notes with notes that do have a great performance. So I wanted to make sure that they're definitely either performing over the top great for the type of fragrances they are, fresh, or they have something that will actually make them last a long time. And these are definitely ones that I agree with. I've gone through them, I definitely have tested them out, and they have great performance. So I highly approve of these fragrances, so you guys should definitely check them out after watching this video. Before I let you know about the fragrances, if this is your first time tuning into this channel and you haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So why don't we go ahead and get started with this house JAZEEL, JAZEEL's fragrance Wid. Now I have slowly turned around to this. For some reason it didn't really wow me at first, and I think it's because of the note of melon in here. And melon's a little challenging. It can go smelling a little marine and kind of sulfuric a little bit. But I've kind of grown to enjoy this particular fragrance, and I realize how great the performance is because it is kind of a fresh, musky, fruity fragrance experience. So it's Wid from JAZEEL, featuring musk, melons, mango, orange, magnolia, rose, cedar, jasmine, and amber. Eventually it'll settle to a kind of an ambery, woody experience, but it's all fruits and flowers when it first sprays, and of course the citruses as well. Wid from the house of JAZEEL. Do you guys know that house? I did a video on the house. Go catch that video if you haven't yet. Moving on to the house of BORTNIKOFF, it's Amber Cologne. So Amber Cologne, yeah, another amber fragrance that's kind of a fresh experience. But this particular one is kind of on the tropical side. Has loads of Frangipani and Ambergris. So it kind of has a light marine, musky, tropical floral kind of an experience. And it does have great legs with this particular fragrance. It's an eau de parfum concentration, but it's called an Amber Cologne. Frangipani, jasmine, grapefruit, orange, Ambergris, vanilla, bergamot, lemons, sandalwood, oud, cedar, and cardamom. There's spices, there's woods, there's oud of course, but it's kind of sweet with vanilla, and then of course it's got this loads of floral notes with citruses, and then of course the ambergris. Amber Cologne from the house of BORTNIKOFF at number 14. At number 13, going to the house of TIZIANA TERENZI, it's FOCONERO. Now FOCONERO is not necessarily a fragrance that is uber big on the projection, but it has great longevity. It's a salty fragrance with citruses and unique aromatic notes, and it's got salt, lime, ozonic notes, juniper, lavender, lemons, bergamot, thyme, oakmoss, cedar, and sandalwood. So this is not your typical fresh fragrance, but it is kind of salty, and well, not kind of, it's definitely loads of saltiness. So it kind of takes on a little bit of a marine characteristic, but it's more ozonic, which means it's crisp and fresh, and kind of ozonic notes are kind of like violet leaves or cucumbers and things like that. So it has these herbal touches, citrusy touches, and then it's got this salt, and eventually it has a woody dry down. So FOCONERO from the house of TIZIANA TERENZI at number 13. Alright, moving on to the house of JOVOY, it's 21 Conduit Street. So this is kind of a fragrance that's got this Ambroxan base, and Ambroxan is that type of note that has this fusion of smells like amber, musk, woods, like chopped woods. So there's a little bit of that, and then just a light bit of marine kind of ambergris kind of a smell, because Ambroxan is to replicate the smell of ambergris, which is very, very expensive. So it has that in the base, and it has great longevity and lingering power, but it's got lots of grapefruit here. There's fir balsam, woods, rhubarb, almonds, lavender, tonka beans, and bergamot. It's a great fresh, zingy fragrance experience with great longevity. It does wear fresh, but it has this kind of depth to it because of all the woods and the kind of woodiness from the Ambroxan note. 21 Conduit Street at number 12. Moving on to a tropical fragrance. It's a great, great fragrance from the house of MANCERA. It's Holidays. I've been recommending this one for quite a bit. It's very, very delicious, and even though it has warm notes, and since it's tropical, I'm featuring it here as a, you know, beast mode summer fragrance experience. But you gotta like the coconutty experience, you gotta like the, you know, tropical floral experience here, and of course the vanilla. It's coconuts, TR flower, vanilla, ylang-ylang, sea notes, sandalwood, and musk. So in the end, it's like a beach experience. You got the waves crashing, you're smelling the sea. It is a little bit fishy, but then you've got some suntan lotion on. Maybe you're having a little bit of a coconutty cocktail. So it's that whole experience captured in a bottle. Yeah, it does have warmth to it, but, you know, suntan lotion definitely has that kind of warmth there too. So MANCERA Holidays at number 11. It's a great fragrance with great longevity. Moving on to the house of Parfums de Nicolas, it's Neroli Intense. So they have a fragrance called Cap Neroli, which is a fresh version of neroli. This is Neroli Intense, which takes the neroli and intensifies it for a great long-lasting neroli fragrance experience. It's neroli orange blossom, beeswax, petitgrain, mandarin, orange, tarragon, pittosporum, and musk. And I think it's the beeswax note in here that kind of prolongs the life of this particular fragrance and takes on a characteristic of an ambery experience, even though it's beeswax and you're dealing with loads of citruses and the citrus flowers and the leaves and everything, and other flowers with musk. It's a great scent. It's definitely a little different than Cap Neroli. They smell a little different. I don't think they're supposed to be flankers of one another, but in the end, Cap Neroli and Neroli Intense from the same brand, kind of similar idea. So Neroli Intense from the house of Parfums de Nicolas at number 10. Moving on to number 9, it's Amouage Lyric Man. This, to me, so far is the only masculine targeted release. Everything else has been unisex, and I enjoy this particular rosy fragrance because it has depth to it, and even though it's deep and rich, I think it's a great fresh wearing experience because it's rose and lime and things like that. So it features a rose and the lime, and it also features this kind of light vegetal angelica note, and then also galbanum. So it adds some powdery experience and a little bitterness along with musk, incense, pine, sandalwood, vanilla, ginger, saffron. There's some zing, there's some sweetness, there's some woods in here, but it's just like a rose bomb, jammy, syrupy with lots of lime and you know, the light vegetal experience as well. So it is Lyric Man from the house of Amouage. This next one is from the house of the Harmonist. This is Yin Transformation for a very thick, watery fragrance wearing experience. So water is not necessarily long lasting, but the way they've done this particular fragrance is really, really long lasting for a freshie. It's parfum concentration, so it's intense. It's got water notes, white musk, orris, rose, hedione, bergamot, ylang-ylang, freesia. It's a floral experience, it's a citrusy experience, it's a musky experience, and powdery, and definitely this watery experience, and it's a fresh, very, very fresh, sparkling, and invigorating experience. The Harmonist Yin Transformation, a great, great smell and a perfect summer fragrance with great, great longevity. Moving on to the house of Thomas Cosmala. I am featuring this one here. It's a little minimalistic. It's Après l'Amour, number 4. So, you know, I could have featured something like Baccarat Rouge here. I think I left that off because a lot of people talk about that one. This is kind of in that similar ballpark, but different. This is more woody and definitely musky. It's dry woods, amber, musk, aromatic notes with spices, bitter orange, lemon zest. So you've got the orangey touches here, but it's very, very musky with this kind of Ambroxan experience. For me, it's Ambroxan, but they don't claim that it's Ambroxan, so I don't know, they're mentioning musks, and Ambroxan is kind of a musk, so I'm going to say it's Ambroxan. But it's a very, very long lasting, really, really intense fragrance experience, very, very musky and woody with some light citruses thrown in. So it's Thomas Cosmala, number 4, Après l'Amour, and that's at number 7. And continuing on with the Ambroxan type of a fragrance, moving on to Electimus London. This is Trajan or Trahan. This is a citrusy Ambroxan balm that kind of takes on a kind of a Baccarat Rouge-like experience with loads of citruses, so I feel like citruses are, you know, very appropriate for summertime, and it has the kind of a Baccarat Rouge-like DNA here, or experience. With citruses, I feel like it's perfect. It also has great, great longevity for this particular fragrance, really great, smells great, very, very sexy, with saffron, blood orange, ambergris, mandarin orange, lavender, sage, oak moss, cedar, lemons, and bergamot. So it's very, very citrusy, and also very, very aromatic, and then it has this saffron leatheriness and then ambergris, so it kind of, there's definitely this Ambroxan note in here. They've mentioned saffron and ambergris, but a really, really great smelling fragrance. I really like this one a lot. This is Trajan or Trahan from the house of Electimus London. Moving on to the house of Profumum Roma Orangea. So Profumum Roma fragrances, if you don't know, are all very linear notes. We don't have a top and a heart and a base note. So these are meant to be rubbed because they are also oily. So because of the oiliness, they last a much longer time than other fragrances. So also they're kind of soothing and smoothing, kind of almost like lotiony, because they're very oily fragrances. Orangea at number 5, though, is a great Petitgrain focused fragrance. So taking the bitter leaves from the bitter orange tree and throwing it in here for a great citrusy fragrance experience. It's almost like you're walking through an orange grove, and there's no flowers on the tree, but there's loads of the leaves. You can smell it. But it's Petitgrain, bergamot, cedar, and mint. Really, really great smelling fragrance. If you like the idea of an orange grove with the leaves that you are smelling, definitely Orangea from the house of Profumum Roma is going to do the trick for you. Next, it's from the house of MANCERA. It's Intense Cedrat Boisé. Definitely a more intense take on the MANCERA Cedrat Boisé with more depth. They've added oud here, and I think they've also intensified the spices in here, but it's chock full of citruses with black currant, so it's a little fruity. And then they've also amplified the leather in here, so it's leather, oud, white musk, oak moss, ambergris, jasmine, sandalwood, but lots of citruses with black currant and spices. A great smelling fragrance, Intense Cedrat Boisé at number 4 from the house of MANCERA. I can't leave this one off. This is from the house of Nishané. It's Hachivat, this one right here. So this to me is uber intense and overwhelming, and a little goes a long way. You know, a lot of these fragrances, a little goes a long way, especially in the summertime, but if you like the idea of intense fragrances, spray away, right? Nishané's Hachivat, though, it's very sharp, I should say. I was gonna say crisp or crunchy, but it's very, very sharp and metallic take on something that smells like Aventus, but it's loads of pineapple, oak moss, grapefruit, bergamot, woods, cedar, patchouli, and jasmine. Major dosage of oak moss here and lots of grapefruit. There's the zing, there's a bite, a spiciness, and then the woods. So there's very sharp experience here, and I enjoy it. And I shouldn't say it's similar to Aventus. I think it's more the idea of something like Aventus rather than something smelling like Aventus, if that makes sense. But this is definitely very, very intense, and a little goes a long way, and a perfect longevity in the heat of the summer. Nishané Hachivat at number 3. Next, going to the house of Amouroud. I featured this in a video recently of fig fragrances, and I'm featuring it here for a long-lasting fig fragrance. This is Silver Birch. Amazing fragrance. Love the way this smells. This one is definitely a fruity take on fig with a little bit of the greenness as well from the leaves, but it's also got papyrus, orange blossom, suede, vetiver, cardamom, and jasmine. So this one's definitely not uber fresh, but you can definitely get away with it if you want that longevity. And I think fig fragrances for me are perfect summer fragrances, but this one definitely has lots of substance and lots of depth and intensity. So Silver Birch from the house of Amouroud, a great fragrance. And the last fragrance at number 1 It's Accento Overdose. The first experience with this was wearing this in the heat of summer in 2019, and I realized how great it smells. Pretty intense, it's fruity, it's green and floral, and major longevity with this one, and very sexy smell. Accento Overdose features green notes, fruits, pine, eucalyptus, jasmine, lily of the valley, rose, and balsams. So eventually it settles to an ambery experience. It's got lots of green notes plus lily of the valley, so it's a green floral experience, and the fruits are fresh fruits, not dried fruits here. And then you've got the eucalyptus and pine, so very unique combination of notes for a great smelling fragrance. It's Accento Overdose from the house of Xerjoff, and that is my #1 favorite fragrance for beast mode summer fragrances with major longevity. What are your thoughts on these fragrances? Are you familiar with them? Have you been curious about them, or do you hate them? Let me know, put a comment down so I can find out. Are there any other beast mode fragrances out there that I should check out that are perfect for summer? Let me know, put a comment down so I can find out and I can look into it for future videos, guys. I do like my fragrances to be really intense. Sometimes I wonder, some people say this one is beast mode. I go, that doesn't last on me. So the thing is, these do last on me, and I have worn them, and there's proof that my experience is great longevity with these. But sometimes some fragrances just do not last, and it's got to do with, you know, skin chemistry or environmental issues and things like that. But these ones definitely I have worn and approve of, with having really great longevity. They're definitely intense fragrances. But sometimes, as I said, I don't agree with some of the offerings. But I do want to hear what you guys have, you know, as options. Put a comment down so I can find out, so I can look into those fragrances. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. I am featuring one more bonus fragrance for you guys. This is Aqua Viva. Aqua Viva is that tart citrusy experience, tart lemony citrus sour kind of an experience with loads of lemons, cypress, cedar, and laburnum. Here it's a very green and very tart experience. It's a major citrus bomb or a lemon bomb, and it's a perfect fragrance to wear in the heat of the summer. It cuts through that humidity and the heat and kind of gives you this really burst of like energetic citrus punch kind of a thing. A great fragrance in the hot days, and again, this is this kind of stuff that you can spray and basically do this, because when I went to the what do you call it, the flagship store in Rome for Parfumum Roma, where I shot a video, and they basically do this kind of rubbing thing. Again, it's linear, so you don't have a top and a heart and a base note to worry about burning the top notes kind of a thing. So you can basically just spray and rub and then move on, because all the notes are, you know, in one line. There are no top and base notes. Anyway, Aqua Viva is a great fragrance to wear. Check it out if you don't know it, and I highly recommend it, from the house of Parfumum Roma. And thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.